Well, greetings, Samuel of Rhythmic Service. I'm here today just to kind of settle everybody down for a moment. Just to give you a big old smile. One of my big smiles. There we go. Well, you think it's kind of funny that I'm sitting up here talking in this funny voice and smiling and acting silly and so forth. But you know what I'm doing? I'm settling the energy. Because if you just close your eyes for a minute and just kind of reach out in front of you energetically, you can almost feel the level of the energy in the room. A lot of you felt it when you first came in today, and some of you kind of felt it and you kind of went back out and kind of came in again a couple of times to kind of acclimate the energy. And you know, it's becoming real. That's the nice part about it. Because for a long time, this couldn't be part of your reality. You see, it exists in the smaller worlds when you're children. But when you start to become adults, you can't think that you can feel the energy of the room. You can't think that you can even feel the hearts of other people. But you can. You know, when the keeper was really small, his parents were kind of religious, and they kept taking him to church all the time, and he wanted to be a preacher or whatever it was he was going to be at some point. So he kept asking, how do I get there? How do I be the best that I can be? And they kept just saying, be good. Be good. Just be good, no matter what. Well, what is good? He was very confused about that until a couple of times when he was caught being bad, and then he understood a little more. Sometimes you need the polarity, to see where your boundaries are. And that's nothing wrong with that, dear ones. You're on the earth for a reason. Number one, you're not expected to be perfect. Did you know that? In other words, you can't be perfect even if you tried to be. That's part of the rules of planet Earth. There's only imperfection here. Perfection's at home. When you come down here, you've got to divide up all your perfection into different dimensional levels just so you can pretend to be imperfect. Well, now we're going to ask you to shine your light in all of your beautiful imperfection, because that's really the light from home that you brought. That's really the essence of the flavor of light that you give it. We gave a channel the keeper calls these channels. Well, I don't know about the channel part, but I'll tell you, we gave a message a while back that was very interesting to me because it was straight from my heart. And it was all about ice cream. Oh yes, ice cream on your planet is very popular. And it's popular for a lot of different reasons. Not only does it taste good and it's sweet and all the fun things that you think about, it always puts a smile on your face. But it also has a whole bunch of choices, doesn't it? You can choose this flavor over this flavor or this flavor or this flavor that doesn't even taste good. You can do all this stuff in here with ice cream. Well, that's the way we put it because it kind of expresses who we are. You see, we're home. We don't have to deal with the egos. We don't have to deal with the physical bubbles of biology that you do. But we're the light. We're the ice cream. You're the flavors. And you're all expected to bring it through with your best of your flavor. The light is the same light coming through all these beautiful rays. And each one of you carries and flavors this light in the most beautiful way. Well, that's the light that you're now starting to sense out here. That's when you feel the energy in a room. You can see that. But it's much more than that now. And there's people all over the planet who have been thinking that they've been in charge in different ways, who are finding out they're not really in charge anymore. And many of them are people that you've even elected to run your governments and put in positions of most important parts to run things for you. And they think they're in charge, so they go right through the best that they can, because most of them are working from their heart too. You have to understand that. Even if you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean they weren't working from their heart. It just means they've got some miscommunications in here somewhere. So what's taking place is they start to do this. But now they're running up against the energy in the room. You see, it wasn't important before because nobody could feel it. But now everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling everybody else's energy. Now you can put a part of this into your technologies, because they certainly have something to do with it. You can all pull out a cell phone now and go right on the internet and pull up all kinds of things very quickly that you couldn't do before. Today you had messages come in from 3 different countries right there on the screen. You see, you're not limited in the way that you used to be. And that energy in the room isn't the energy in the room anymore. It's the energy on planet Earth. And everybody's feeling it. Everybody's trying to figure out where the resistance is and where the path of least resistance is for each one of you. And it's new, but it's the collective heart of planet Earth. It's the one heart of planet Earth, of humanity. You remember a while back we gave you a message. And I'm going to let him come in here in just a couple of minutes, so just bear with me a second. But a few months ago we gave you an important message. And it was all about the third wave of empowerment. We've been talking about the second wave of empowerment and the first wave of empowerment for many years. The first wave of empowerment was learning how to follow the leader. Learning how to actually follow somebody that could lead you into something better. And it took you a long time for all of humans to learn how to do that. Then the second wave of empowerment was learning how to follow yourself. Infinitely more difficult than following somebody else, because it means you've got to build your trust levels up, and you've got to learn to divide yourself and to put your own boundaries down and your healthy boundaries for where you are and where someone else is. And it was very important to learn all that, and you've done really well with that over the last 50 to 60 years on Earth. But now you're in the third wave of empowerment, and it's causing all kinds of problems on Earth. The third wave is harmony. Look around you. You'll see what's going on in your governments. You'll see what's taking place in many different areas. You're having a hard time with the polarity there. In fact, the more you try to come together, the more you want to go apart and be completely apart from each other. This is a natural reaction to the removal of that energy in the room. Because now there's no reason not to harmonize. And so many people have built up all their belief systems. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to oppose this. I have to be opposite of this. I have to be polarized. Well, now there's a third pole. It's not black and white anymore. You've got a third position here where you can tap into your own higher self. It's why we call it triality. Because this third position allows you to have a new pole. It doesn't have to be black and white anymore. Now you can experience all the beautiful colors of the rainbow in between and choose any one of those expressions you can, because it doesn't have to be this way or that way. It can now be this way and this way. And yet, so many of you are having difficulties here. But when you turn on the news, and you look at all the challenges that are going on the planet, if you really look, you'll see that every one of them are changing because of the energy in the room. Isn't that interesting? You almost went to war a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, you were that close to going to war again. But what changed it? The energy in the room. So many of you held it in your heart that new ways were found. New possibilities broke through that weren't even there in the beginning. And now you've got everybody coming forward trying to save the day. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And we know you don't trust them all. We know you think most of them are playing games. But the truth of the matter is everybody's on this planet trying to do the best they can. And all you need to do is pay attention to the energy in the room. Because that's your barker. That's your space where you can know where things are right or wrong for you. You're the only one that matters, you know. Oh, you didn't think that. You've been thinking about everybody else all around you. How can I make life comfortable for them? Well, now it's going to be about you, because this is the grounding of the new energy and the new light. And this is the beauty of the energy in the room. The energy on planet Earth has changed. There's no more secrets. And many of your world leaders are having all kinds of problems with that one. But that's all right. Because there's no black and white. There is no polarity. There's not even any right or wrong, the way that you have always thought about it. And back in the days when the keeper was really young, he was taken to church and he was told to be good. Well, why was he told to be good? Because God watches everything. He was told that very clearly. God watches everything and he keeps score. And at the end of the year, if you don't have enough brownie points to make it through, you're not going to get any Christmas presents or some other thing that they told you would be some guilt thing about not being good. But now you go by the energy in the room because you have collective hearts that are matching all over the place. And we'll tell you that it used to be quite possible for people to put something over on the general public, but it doesn't work anymore. And now all of you are learning new forms of communication where to be coming through the heart completely and to be completely open. Because in the times of no more secrets, it's not possible to hold anything back anyway. You're all becoming incredibly what you call psychic. No, we don't like that word because it's actually your spirit coming through your physical body in a beautiful way. It's actually the same way we communicate at home all the time, which is why you know so deep in your heart that it's beautiful and it's truth. But all of you now can start working with this energy. And even though there's 7 billion people on this planet, don't you ever forget that you're one of them. And not only that, but you're not 1/7 billionth of the planet. You're much more than that because you hold the energy in the room. And when world leaders are trying to go one direction and they say, we don't care what happens, we don't care who finds out, we don't care what takes place, we're just going to do it anyway, it won't be possible anymore. Which is what just happened. You just averted war. You just averted war on your planet, and it wasn't anybody's plan to do that. You did that within your hearts. You should be very proud of yourself. Because all the machinery was gearing up to go to war. It was all set to go. They didn't need any more excuses. They didn't need anything else. It was going to happen on your planet again. And the energy in the room changed it. They weren't able to make it work. How beautiful is that? You're starting to take charge of your own reality. Planet Earth is turning into a place for conscious creators. And we're so proud of you. Now, I'm going to step aside and bring him in while we've still got a little time here because I get so excited. It's hard for me to kind of step aside sometimes. But you see, we don't deal with the egos the same way you do. So him's just happy as a pear back here, just doing the way. I don't know how happy a pear gets, but he's happy. So he's happy back here. He doesn't care whether I'm speaking with my tones or whether he's speaking because we're of the same heart. And even though all of you got to carry around these heavy egos, because they're very difficult to carry, but they're necessary on earth, know that that keeps you from seeing others' heart. And if you just pay attention to the energy in the room, your lives will get easier. You see the way to go, and you'll find that path of least resistance in the most beautiful way. And now I step aside for just a moment and bring him in. Well, greetings. I'm in. We had a laugh stuck way down inside, and we needed to let it out. He didn't want to let it out, so I just went ahead and let it out anyway. Welcome, everybody. I'm so joyed to be with you because you're balancing your energies. We tell you this is so exciting for us to watch from this perspective because what has happened is you have been so polarized in so many ways on earth. It is how you have been allowed to play the game. And therefore, you have been able to find confidence by having an energy already set. Now, you have taken these in polarity, and you've called this one male, and you've called this one female, and you get so stuck in those energies that it's very difficult for you to balance sexual energy on your planet. But you are doing such a marvelous job of it. You see, I am balanced in what we call male-female energy. Now, I do not have to live on Earth, so it is easy for me, much, much different than many of you, because it's a constant balance to be able to do that. And there has been a very long time on Earth where you have been trying to balance this energy. Now, you have been in the male energy, in the swing of the male energy for quite some time. And what most of you don't remember is that there were times that the feminine was also in charge. And we had just as many problems over there. So it's about a balance. It's not about polarity any longer. And because you are losing the polarity, you can start to balance the sexual energy between all of you. And that's opening up all kinds of possibilities. It was only recently that we asked an expert to come into the Lightmaster group and to educate some of the Lightmasters about what transgender was all about and what some of the energies on planet Earth, because you are not familiar with your full sexual expressions on planet Earth. You are only familiar with the polarized versions of that which you have needed to build your history. Now it is changing. And there are so many beautiful ways to experience love on planet Earth. Love is love is love, and there are no more rules. It is that simple. Now what is taking place is that you are saying, okay, well, I don't always have to be in this relationship or that relationship, and we're telling you not to measure your sexuality by your relationships, but by your energy, by who you are. Can you find your own restrictions with your sexual energy beliefs? Well, sure, you all have them in some way. You all have learned your set of rules on planet Earth with which you must live by in order to balance all this beautiful, negative, and positive polarized energies. But now all of you have access to a much deeper love, to a much deeper connection to your own spirit, for your spirit does not know polarity. When you come in here and you pretend to be a man or a woman, it simply means that you are taking the spiritual energy from home and you are running it through a filter which only shows a small part of it. It is not until you become balanced in all areas that allow you to do more of your own spirit and it's in its completeness and uniqueness. Not easy. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination because of your repetitions. In a field of polarity, success is always determined by repetition. Oh, you did something wonderfully, that's great. Is it a success? No, not until you repeat it several times. And once you learn to do something this way, you've learned to do it over and over and over again, it turns into a belief system, which is what we call BS. It gets more of you in difficulties than you could possibly imagine. You have always used them because they are very successful to a success, but you are also eliminating all of the other possibilities. Now that is changing. And we tell you there will be reactions to it the same way that there are massive reactions on Earth at this moment to the balance of male-female energies. There is also a depolarization that is happening that will allow all of you to harmonize in new ways. But it's not easy. At the moment you try to polarize or depolarize, all of those polarized beings stand up and say, wait a minute, this is my truth and this has always been the way it is and this is the way I'm going to keep it. For that is human nature. So be patient, not only with yourselves, but with all of the creatures on Earth. You are changing. You are changing the light as it comes from home, and you express it with your beautiful flavors of ice cream, as Ilra calls it. But you're flavoring the light. That is also what you do at home. And we recognize your lights. We see you. We know you have been placed there specifically because of your gifts. And now what we are asking you to do is to take off all of the shields that you have put, all the protections that you have placed there so you could have a comfortable life and start being who you really are. We tell you there is no explanation needed for the truth. You do not need to ever describe or defend your emotions to anyone. They are your truth. You may not always like them. You may wish that you could shift them from time to time, but we ask you just to be who you are. experience all the good, the bad, the ugly, every other part of it, because it is the whole concept of your human experience. You're on a search for beauty on planet Earth. All of you are looking around trying to find the beauty you know from home. And occasionally you find a piece of it. When you do, we light up from home. And we go, look, he found beauty. Isn't that marvelous? And everyone smiles and lights your path for you. Reach out and find that beauty. It's all around you. It is part of who you are now. We wish to add one more thing before we leave here this day. We have spoken of a very important event that is taking place on planet Earth. It actually began around the beginning of your year, this year. You see, you've gone through a massive portal, dear ones, through the 12-12-12, all the way through the 21st of December. And you have emerged into a new world, one that you are acclimating little part at a time and finding your new comfort zones in this new world. And it is quite different than what you have seen before. Part of the reason is that many of the things that have been placed in your path to mark your way, to give you confidence, have recently been removed. Many of you have been able to see your reflection. You have called yourself this, or some of you have called yourself a psychologist. Some of you called yourself a healer. Some of you called yourself a reader. Those words do not work anymore. You are much larger than all of those reflections that you have been looking for in the universe around you. So therefore, many of you have found quite a panic because your reflection isn't there anymore. But one of the things that took place during this time is that there was a protective shield around Earth, which has been there for millions of years, not thousands. It was actually emanating from planet Earth through the pyramids on Earth. There was a pyramidal grid which was causing a very light magnetic shield around the Earth, which kept many of the meteors and comets from destroying your planet and from interrupting your flow and your evolution of life on planet Earth. And it has been very successful. There are many asteroids and rocks out there that have been aimed very directly at your planet that have not hit it. But as of the beginning of this year, that protective shield has been removed. For you are no longer in need of it in the same way that you were. In fact, what we are telling you is that a miracle is happening. And it's happening every day. For you are now receiving many of these comets and asteroids and specks of dust from outer space that you did not receive before. And even though you've always received some comets and asteroids, the numbers of them this year have grown dramatically. And for the remainder of the year, you will see even more. Why? Because of the simple reason that you are being reseeded. Planet Earth is starting a whole new cycle of life. And these are the seeds of life that are being replanted. You had, as the keeper turned on the news this morning, he was awakened by this horrible idea that global warming, in fact, has now been proven as of this morning. There is no doubt in scientific minds anywhere that global warming has been caused by humans. And we tell you that is absolutely true. But we also tell you you can change it. And we also tell you that you've already turned the corner. Now, like a massive freight train moving in a direction, if you decide to take a right turn, it's going to take some time. And this is what is taking place now. All of humanity is adjusting to the new energies and starting to shift to the new energies. But every time you see a meteor come in, or you hear a story that yesterday a meteor exploded over this country or that country, celebrate. Because it means that the new seeds of light are being planted. The new seeds of new life forms are changing all of Earth. Now, your scientists and your biologists absolutely disagree with what I am saying right now. Planet Earth, according to them, is still on a dying cycle. For you are losing species on Earth at a rapid rate right now. But this is why we are replanting it for you. Now, it will take time for these seeds of light to do, but you are the ones that chose to be here during this change of the cycle. You did not wish to wipe out Earth and start over again as you have done before. You wanted to stay here in these bodies and walk through this consciously. We could not be prouder of you. You have made it much easier already than you ever dreamt. But we tell you this because a couple of things have happened in recent days, and more are to come. One of them is you had a massive earthquake in a part of your world that you call Afghanistan or Pakistan. We don't know which one you called it. But it is there, and it has basically formed a new island. Now, this island is not expected to be here very long. It will be receding back into the ocean very soon, but it will be here long enough. For what has taken place is the tectonic plates have simply moved upon each other. And during that time where these energies have been building up, there has been a stress on Earth that all of you have tied into. All of you have found life a little more difficult because of the stress the Earth has been going through. Well, she just released quite a bit of that, and even this morning released even more. Now, these are the energies that we have the aftermath of this. We look at the horrible things that have happened, and you try to send your energy, but also celebrate Earth, because she's just released a tremendous amount of tension. And she is resetting a lot of energy. Now, why did the new island come up? Well, the island is a very small island. It's only about 30 inches high and about 60 meters across. So it's a very small island and will be settling back down. But it has made it to the surface to collect stardust. And that it will do. You have a particular comet that is coming. You know about it, you have known about it, and we have even spoken of it previously. It is now expected to reach you on November 28th, which in the United States is the day you call Thanksgiving. This comet is going to pass near Earth, as it has done before, but it will sprinkle so much stardust on Earth that the receding process may actually be visible to some. You may actually be able to see some of the stardust coming down out of the atmosphere. That's how much dust is coming, and that dust is the starlight. These are the star seedings of the planet Earth in the new cycle, in the new Earth, the one that was to die. But you changed your minds. You woken from the dream. You took your charge as conscious creators. And here you are walking around on the new Earth saying, why isn't everything the same? Why do I feel depressed? Why can't I see my light? You have no idea how much you've already done. You've already won the game, dear ones. We know it does not feel like that. We know it is difficult for many of you just to survive. But you have no idea what was previously to happen. More than 90% of planet Earth would have been completely wiped out. It would have been very similar to what you know as Mars today. But here you are, ready to walk into this next phase of life. Walk into it with your eyes open. Celebrate at every opportunity, for you are the greatest angels that have ever lived. It is our honor to be here speaking to you, not truly to give you information, but to help you remember who you are and what you came to Earth to bring. Because now is the time. Remember the energy in the room. And when you turn on the news and you see some world events, think about the energy in the room. Will the energy of humanity allow that to happen? And know that your voice and your heart make a huge difference on planet Earth. It is not a numbers game. It is an energetic game. And as you learn to connect your hearts even quicker through the aid of technologies, and you do not need the technologies, they are simply teaching you how to use it, how to use your own heart to create a world of consciousness on planet Earth. You are magnificent, every one of you, and we hope you feel that magnificence and that specialness, that uniqueness that all of you carry. You are spirits from home pretending to be humans, but we know who you are, and we are here just to remind you. It is with the greatest of honor that we ask you to treat each other with respect, nurture one another at every opportunity. Enjoy the comet that is coming, and play well together. Aspavo.
Aspavo. You next?
Sure.
That's beautiful. You know, I love it when the group... Oh, sorry, I'm busy in thought. I forgot to ground you. Somebody has to kiss me on top of the head to ground me. I was thinking about ice cream. We can all live life like ice cream and choose a flavor. Tutti Frutti, I think that'd be great. But don't choose Rocky Road. That's no good.